from Disney Channel's The Style Edit. So you may notice that I'm a bit barefaced today, and that's because today's vlog is going to be all about makeup. So a few of you guys have asked me to do a beginner's makeup tutorial and to give you some tips. So I've come up with a look that's really natural and easy to do. But first I want to take a look at your best and worst pieces from your wardrobe inspired by the chat that I had with Sky Jackson last week. So Alexis says, my favourite item is probably my pont pants. Oh my gosh, they are so comfy. I'm probably looking back at old photos wearing a really nice top with track pants and ballet flat shoes. Hashtag embarrassing. And I think you and Sky have the same idea about wearing comfy pants. Thank you for leaving me a comment. So I got into makeup quite a few years ago now when I started watching tutorials online, and I kept watching my favourite beauty vloggers and really picked up some tips. So some of my favourites would have to be Shani Grimman, Danny Mansoudi and Lauren Curtis. They have influenced me so much and they have really helped me learn how to use makeup. So today's vlog is all about keeping things natural, experimenting and having fun. So let's get into it. So the first product that I'm going to use is my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. This is great for you beginners who don't want a really heavy coverage foundation. So how I like to apply my foundation is to pour a little bit on my brush. Everyone applies their foundation differently, but this is just a technique that I like to use. I'm then just going to dab the foundation around my face. And this foundation doesn't dry super quick, so it doesn't matter if we take our time to blend it out. And make sure you blend it down your chin and down your neck as well, because you want to make sure it matches nicely. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I'm just going to be applying this underneath my eyes. So I really like this concealer. It has great coverage, but it doesn't crease underneath your eyes at all, especially if you set it with some powder as well. I like to apply it where my eyes have the most darkness and then blend it down a little bit. So now I'm going to take a concealer brush and I'm going to tap underneath my eyes to blend it all out. The reason you want to tap is because if you wipe, then it's going to remove the concealer, but tapping just helps it sink into the skin nicely. So moving on to the other eye, I'm just tapping it again to blend it out, blending it down just to make sure there's no distinct colour difference between my concealer and my foundation. Moving on to powder, I'm going to be using my Australis Fresh and Flawless Pressed Powder. I'm just going to buff this into my skin. I'm not going to use too much because I don't want my makeup to appear cakey, especially since I've already got foundation on. But this will just make it last that extra bit longer and also make me appear much more matte and not so oily. So we're also going to powder our neck because we put foundation there. Now I'm going to use my Bronze Booster by Physicians Formula. When you've put lots of base products on, you need to add some bronzer just to add some dimension to your face. So I'm just going to blend this in kind of like a 3 shape around my face. So just around here and then under my jawline. For blush, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Master Glaze Blush Stick. I'm going to be adding this onto the apples of my cheeks and just kind of blending it up as well. This just adds a flush of colour to your cheeks, which makes it look really nice and natural. So now I'm just going to take my fingers and just start blending it out. You can use a brush or a beauty blender if you'd like, but I find that my fingers work just perfectly for this. It also adds a really nice sheen as well to your cheekbones. So the blush is done, let's move on to the highlighter. I've decided to use this shade right here. It's really similar to another highlighter that I have, which is a lot more expensive, so let's see how this works. So I'm just going to be adding this onto my cheekbones, just about there, and it adds a really pretty glow. So I guess you could say this is kind of like a hack to use an eyeshadow as a highlighter instead. Just going to add some to my Cupid's bow and then down the bridge of my nose. I kind of like to go crazy with the highlighter, but I'm going to leave it at that for today. Moving on to eyebrows, I'm going to be using a pencil today, and this is the Revlon Colorstay Eyebrow Liner. So I'm just going to start off by brushing out my brows to make sure they're ready. So to start off with, I'm just going to lightly fill in the sparse areas, which means little gaps that are in my eyebrows. And this is just going to be really light strokes to make sure it looks really natural. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be using this palette by Maybelline, and it's a nudes palette, and I'm so excited to use this. I love all the shades in here and it's really affordable, so it's great. So I'm going to start off with using the same shade that I used as my highlighter, so this one right here. So make sure you focus this eyeshadow on the actual lid. Don't go into the crease area, which is around here, because we're going to be blending a different eyeshadow in there. So it's always great to use a matte colour in your crease. So I'm going to be using this one right here, which is a matte brown. It's going to start from my outer corner and just kind of dab it in the outer V area, so that's just like this kind of area. But then we're going to start blending it into the crease, and this will just make a really nice kind of shadow. Moving on to eyeliner, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Master Precise Liquid Eyeliner, and I love this because it's got a really thin tip, so you have lots of control over this. So I'm just going to be doing a really thin line above my lashes, and this will just kind of make my lashes look a bit more full. Moving on to mascara, I'm going to be using my Rimmel London Volume Colorist Mascara. This is my favourite step as well. So I'm just going to be starting from the root of my lash and making my way up. I find that this mascara really defines each lash and doesn't make them clumpy at all. So I'm just going to put the mascara on top of my lashes and kind of wiggle the wand. This will just get the most product on your lashes. Now we finished the mascara, we're going to move on to the lips, and I've got this lipstick by Rimmel, and it's the Kate lipstick, and it's in the shade 43, so I'm just going to apply this on my lips. I really like it because it's quite a nude shade, but it's still not exactly the same colour as my lip. So this is the finished look. As you can see, it's really quite natural. Even though there's a few steps, I think it's really worth it. It really does enhance your features. So I really hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, make sure to use the comment section below. And if you want me to see any of the pictures of your makeup looks, make sure to use the hashtag TSCElla so I can see them all. So tonight at 5:55 PM, Behind the Style Edit is on Disney Channel, and you guys will get to see more of my makeup looks that I wore to the promo shoot, so make sure to check that out. So as the weather's getting cooler, I've noticed that pinafores are everywhere in the shops at the moment, so I thought that next week I'd do a how I style vlog. But in the meantime, make sure to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you next week. Bye!